Sometimes I really do think the internet was a mistake, because now you got everyone chiming in on everything, talking about everything, thinking they're an expert on everything, and everyone's just damn crazy. And because of the internet, the media is dying, so it's being replaced by insane conspiracy articles. I don't want to get into that again, that was my last video, but the reason I'm bringing this up is that in the Brett Kavanaugh issue, we have just constant back and forth where the facts don't matter at all. Did Christine Blasey Ford lie? Well, according to this body language expert, self-proclaimed, I'm not familiar with her work, she claims that Christine Blasey Ford was putting on an act. And you can tell based on how she moves her eyes, how she holds her head up, and the way she speaks. I don't know if that's any of that's true, but certainly there are a lot of people who want to believe she's lying, so there's going to be like, wow, look at that, she must be an expert, she must know. And I'm like, dude, come on, man. This is not proof of anything. It's just confirmation bias. Then on the other side, we have an op-ed by Brett Kavanaugh's alleged drinking buddies claiming that he lied under oath and that he shouldn't be allowed to be on the Supreme Court. And I'm like, once again, it's an op-ed from people you don't know, but people who want to believe that Brett Kavanaugh was lying are just going to be like, well, if his drinking buddies are saying he lied, he must have lied. And it's like, you don't know who these people are? These websites just want to generate traffic. They're going to write about whatever complete and utter nonsense they will. And you know what? I'll admit, sometimes I don't think I do the best job in the world. I think some of my videos are probably inadvertently bad. It's never my intention to make bad content. I'm trying to make what I view as rational and reasoned analysis and news videos, but sometimes, sometimes I probably get it wrong. I've gone back and looked at some of my old videos, and I've been like, really? That's what I said? Oh, I probably should have done a better job of this, There's a couple of videos I made talking about like news that my intentions were to criticize specific bad instances, but it sounded like I was saying like all news was bad or actually maybe that's just my interpretation when I watch it now, but I kind of feel like, you know what, I improve, I do better all the time. But websites, regardless of what side they're on, they need to get clicks. It's how they survive. So they need the drama and the nonsense. When it comes to the information deluge about Brett Kavanaugh and Christine Blasey Ford, I have no idea what the fuck is going on. I don't. Because everyone's claiming every which way, and I'm like, what? And then you have people on the left being like, we know for a fact Brett Kavanaugh lied. And you have people on the right being, we know for a fact Christine Blasey Ford lied. Here we have this story. People are calling this witness tampering. From the Daily Caller, Ford's friend felt pressure to change story denying knowledge of party Kavanaugh because by any means necessary, right? Because they don't actually care about what really happened, they just want to win. When Christine Blasey Ford alleged she had been assaulted by a then 15-year-old Brett Kavanaugh, actually no, he was 17, she offered the name of a female friend who said she was at the party with her, Leland Kaiser. Kaiser, through a lawyer, denied any memory of such a party or knowing Kavanaugh at all. Since that original statement, the Wall Street Journal reports, Kaiser was pressured to change her statement to be more supportive of the claim. And this came out in the FBI investigation, apparently. She told FBI investigators that she felt pressured by Ford's allies to revisit her initial statement, that she knew nothing about an alleged assault by a teenage Brett Kavanaugh, which she later updated she believed but couldn't corroborate. Dr. Ford's account, according to the Journal. One of the people Kaiser told investigators had reached out to encourage the change was former FBI agent and Ford friend Monica McLean. McLean is the woman an ex-boyfriend of Ford swore in a statement to the Senate had been coached by Ford on how to handle a polygraph test, contradicting her sworn testimony. McLean issued a press statement through Ford's lawyer denying the allegation. Okay. So, Christine Blasey Ford's ex-boyfriend claims Ford was coaching McLean on how to pass a polygraph test, and now, and so McLean denies this, but now it's that, we're hearing McLean was pressuring Leland Kaiser to revisit her story. To me, it sounds like she was angry that she was implicated by Ford's ex, and so she wanted to, put her thumb on the scale, and then ask someone to revisit whatever that means. It sounds like witness tampering, but witness tampering requires what they call like corrupt persuasion. I'm not a lawyer. The Journal reports Kaiser told the FBI McLean had urged her to clarify her statement because her original statement denying any knowledge of the party Ford described was being used by Republicans to rebut the allegations against Judge Kavanaugh. The friends told Miss Kaiser that if she intended to say she didn't remember the party, not that it never happened, that she should clarify her statement. McLean's attorney, David Loffman, released a statement denying any pressure was applied. Any notion or claim that Miss McLean pressured Leland Kaiser to alter Miss Kaiser's account or what she recalled concerning the alleged incident between Dr. Ford and Brett Kavanaugh is absolutely false. On Thursday night, Chuck Grassley sent a letter to Ford's attorneys that, among other things, requested they please turn over records and descriptions of direct or indirect communications between Dr. Ford or her representatives and any of the following. Yeah, that's whatever. I don't want to read that part. It just says, in her testimony before the Senate Judiciary Committee, Ford said she had not talked with Kaiser for years. So here's one story. I got another one, because we're talking about how just crazy everyone is. This next story. We were Brett Kavanaugh's drinking buddies. We don't think he should be confirmed. So here's what happened. First, they asked a bunch of questions to Brett Kavanaugh about whether or not he thinks a sitting president can be indicted. And they were arguing that that should disqualify him. Trump's trying to get him on the court so that he can protect himself. And it's like, okay. Then all of a sudden we had a letter surfaced that was withheld for months. And the letter claimed that when he was 17, he assaulted a woman. There's no evidence. There's no corroboration. Even Leland Kaiser, as we just read, denied knowing of any party. And then it escalated to, well, not only did he grope a woman, he exposed himself to another woman, and then it peaked out at a story claiming Brett Kavanaugh was gang raping women. Seriously. It's just the most psychotic nonsense. But I'll tell you what, when none of that worked, right, or maybe it did work, maybe they're just trying to put pressure on, it came down to the fact that, but in his defense of himself, he lied. Yeah, sure, you don't know if he did, maybe he did, but all you can say is he either was or wasn't lying, and that's your opinion. If the FBI could prove it, they'd probably, indict him on perjury or something, but they can't prove it because it's really hard to prove that someone wasn't just mistaken. You have to prove they were intentionally misleading, the committee or the court or whatever. So now we have this story saying that because he wasn't honest about his drinking, he shouldn't be confirmed. Okay, so now it has nothing to do with sexual assault. Now they've moved on from all of that, and now they're saying Brett Kavanaugh shouldn't be confirmed because his drinking buddies say he was misleading the committee. My opinion on Brett Kavanaugh is not favorable. From what I understand, he's got regressive positions on technology and national security, which I don't agree with. But the left is going for this emotional regressive position, which will not win. It's not going to work. We just saw the vote today. I don't know what's happening. There's going to be an announcement in a little bit. We saw the vote today that it's moving to a floor vote, meaning many people believe they have the votes to confirm Brett Kavanaugh. Well, I'll tell you what. Maybe if the Democrats went after his national security record on how he voted, you might actually get some Republicans to agree with you as well because of allegations that he supported Obama's indefinite detention provision. He supported provisions in the Patriot Act. There's like a bunch of things he's been criticized for. Again, I'm not heavily focused on his record so much, other than I've done a cursory glance at some issues that I think are really bad. Like, he believes that the government has a right to take your metadata from third parties under a third-party provision because he's sticking straight to the Constitution. And in my opinion, I think we have to understand the nuance of technology, right? That, yes, you can look to the letter of the law and the Constitution and act based on that, but that means we're literally going to be inhibiting our rights because they didn't have the internet when they wrote the Constitution. So it's complicated. I know a lot of staunch constitutionalists will be like, keep it the way it is, period, and read it verbatim. But there's issues then when you have like Twitter, which basically is a platform where public debate happens, and they have the right to restrict your speech and your contributions to the public platform, meaning if you're not on these private platforms, you will not engage in political discourse. That's where we're at right now. So I'm of the opinion that something needs to happen. Otherwise, we're going to homogenize opinion, and it's going to be really gross, right? I don't necessarily want to read through this whole story, but basically they say, we each asserted that Brett lied to the Senate by stating under oath that he never drank to the point of forgetting what he was doing. We said unequivocally that each of us, on numerous occasions, had seen Brett stumbling drunk to the point that it would be impossible for him to state with any degree of certainty that he remembered everything that he did when he was drunk. That's your opinion. You're not Brett. You are not Brett. And the problem with this is, I don't know who these people are. I don't know if they're actually friends with Brett Kavanaugh. And not only that, maybe Brett Kavanaugh was just trying to play it cool. Maybe he was trying to impress you and be like, oh, look, I'm so drunk. You ever see like the trope of giving kids non-alcoholic beer and they act drunk? Yes, because they're like, oh man, I'm so drunk. Yeah. So the point is, do I think Brett ever got stumbling drunk that he couldn't remember what happened to him? I think it's possible. He said he's never blacked out. What does blackout mean? It's an opinion. Okay? Does blackout mean that he was drinking and all of a sudden he just like fell face first to the floor and then woke up the next day? Or does it mean that he was doing things actively while awake that he couldn't remember? Right? That's another issue, So a lot of people have different opinions of what blackout means. The other issue is that if you are not Brett, simply because you saw him stumbling drunk, and then you believe it would be impossible for him to state with any degree of certainty that he remembered everything that he did when he was drunk, that's your opinion. It could be that he absolutely does remember everything he did when he was drunk, and it could be that he was faking it. I don't know. The point is, you can't prove it. And we have this back and forth, right? I'm not reading this to highlight specifically these three people, but I just want to point out that it's like every day, probably stopping now with the move to the floor vote, there's some ridiculous, like, oh, he did this. Like, there was one letter I tweeted about where it was like, Brett Kavanaugh was friends with high school bullies who used to pick on me. Now, Brett Kavanaugh didn't pick on me, but the other people did, and he was friends with them. So, okay. Like, seriously, man, are we really going to dig into the past of every single person who did dumb shit when they were a teenager? Like, look, if you actually sexually assault someone, I think that's really bad, and very well may be disqualifying for a position on the Supreme Court. There's no evidence any of that happened. Are we going to get mad at someone for drinking a ton when he was a kid? Well, people drink all the time when they're kids. It went from remember this. They were talking about him gang raping women, and now they're just mad that he lied about drinking too much. Now there's reporting that he threw an ice cube at somebody. It's like, oh, God, man. You know what? I'm gonna go get I'm gonna go relax. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do any of that. So, I'm really. Let me just end by saying this. What's really frustrated me a lot today is what's going on at the Kavanaugh hearing. We're on the second month of this complete and total bullshit. Second month, fourth month now. It's just never-ending bullshit, never-ending smears and lies, and I'm just sick of it. So I'm gonna get out of here. I'll see you guys tomorrow, and I'll be a little bit more chipper.